What if I told you that the toughest moments in your life, they're not just obstacles, they're actually ingredients? That's the powerful idea we're going to dive into today, how the very things that try to break us are often the very things that build us.
And I want you to just let that sink in for a second. Your struggles are seeds of the person you're becoming. This isn't just a nice feel-good quote, right? This is a totally radical way to reframe hardship. The whole idea is that every single difficulty, every setback, it already holds the raw material for who you're meant to be.
So let's really unpack this metaphor. What does it truly mean to look at our struggles not as some kind of punishment, but as the actual seeds of our future strength?
Okay, so here's the absolute core of it all. It's a fundamental shift in perspective. We're moving away from looking at a struggle as some kind of dead end, a brick wall that just stops you in your tracks. Instead, we're starting to see it as a starting point, a tiny little seed that holds an incredible amount of possibility inside.
So when we use this term, when we call a struggle a seed, what are we really talking about? Let's get a little more specific.
Now, the word here that really jumps out at me is latent. That's the key. The potential isn't something separate from the challenge, it's literally embedded inside of it. So, the strength isn't something you go out and find after you get through the struggle. No, it's what you cultivate through it.
And listen, these seeds, they probably look pretty familiar to all of us. Maybe it was that job you didn't get, which totally forced you to discover a brand new career path you love even more. Or a really painful loss that taught you what true empathy really feels like. Or maybe it was just a period of complete uncertainty that forced you to build this unshakable self-reliance you never knew you had. See? These aren't just hard times, they are fertile ground. But of course, a seed doesn't just magically become a tree overnight, right? Having the struggle, that's just the beginning. The real work, the real magic, happens in the process of growth that comes next. And it's an active journey, and it all starts with your mindset.
And this just lays it out so perfectly, the huge difference between these two ways of thinking. The common view, what most of us do, is see a struggle as an obstacle, something to get over as fast as we possibly can. But the seed perspective, well, that sees it as a foundation to build on. It reframes pain not as something to escape, but as a source of strength to tap into. And a setback isn't something that defines you, it's an opportunity to redefine you. So be honest with yourself for a second. Which column do you usually live in?
So this whole journey follows a pretty clear path. It all starts with step one, the planting. And that's really just acknowledging the struggle, looking it in the eye without judging yourself. Then comes germination. And honestly, this is the toughest part. It's when you're under all that pressure, in the dark, and you can't see any progress at all. But if you can endure that, you get to the sprout, that first little sign of growth. A tiny moment of a new perspective. A little bit of resilience you didn't have before. And eventually that sprout becomes the tree. And now your strength is visible. Not just to you, but to the whole world.
Okay, so after all that work, the planting, the enduring in the dark, the sprouting, what's the payoff? What's the result? What kind of strength are we actually harvesting from this whole process?
It is so important to remember this. That discomfort, that pressure, that feeling of being completely buried, that's not a sign that things are going wrong. That is the environment required for growth. Think about it. Without the darkness and the pressure of the soil, a seed can never, ever become what it's meant to be.
And it's exactly this process, this forging in the fire, that creates what we call a strong soul. And that doesn't mean you're invincible or you never feel pain again. Not at all. It's about the qualities that are cultivated because of what you went through. So what does that strength actually look like in real life? Well, it's this deep-rooted resilience. The kind that only grows when a storm forces your roots to dig deeper just to survive. It's a greater empathy that you can only really learn by understanding suffering yourself. It's a hard-earned wisdom that you just can't get from a book. And ultimately, it's an unshakable purpose, a conviction that you can not only survive, but you can actually grow from anything life throws at you. And so we come full circle, right back to where we started. But this sentence, it feels a little different now, doesn't it? It's not just a quote anymore. It feels more like a roadmap. It's a promise that the person you are becoming is being cultivated right now, right in the heart of whatever challenge you're facing. So please remember this. Whatever it is you are facing right now, it is not the conclusion of your story. It's the introduction. It is the beginning of a stronger, more resilient, more incredible version of yourself.
So, I'll leave you with a question to really think about. Look back at your own life. Think about your hardest times, the moments that felt impossible. Can you see it now? Can you see the forest that has grown from those difficult little seeds? What strengths do you have today that were planted in the soil of a past struggle?